Some people do everything we've spoken about. They've avoided every pitfall. They've had a plan. They've got their peer support. They've worked on their ethics. They know their calculator inside out. But you know what? The exam day gets to them. And it is a tough day. You will be nervous. I was. And so it helps to be aware of that. It helps to go into that exam hall thinking, you know what? Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone else is going to feel nervous. Remind yourself that you do not have to get every question right. You will take a few hits. There'll be some questions you've got absolutely no idea. Certainly, I had a few of those. But you don't need to get 100%. Now, of course, the passing score is never, ever discussed by the CFA Institute. All we know is that no one has ever failed this exam who scored 70% and above. So aim for 70%, you should be fine. So, okay, fine, that's 30% of the exam you can get wrong. So just keep it in perspective. Yeah. Now, how you deal with your day is different strategies. Personally, I used to be a fan of starting with my strongest topic. That helps settle the nerves. So for me, that was economics and quants. I would do those two first. And not only was I certain or more certain of getting those questions right, I also found myself I could do those questions quite quickly. And therefore it meant I could spend a bit more time on some of the harder topics. Right? Because let's face it, if you do run out of time, which most people, to be honest, don't, but there's a few who do, if you run out of time in exam, you should aim to run out of time on your hardest topic, on those areas that you might have got wrong. If you run out of time on one of your strongest topics, you're throwing away marks. So I personally would get my strongest topics out of the way first and then leave my weaker topics towards the end. The topics, as you probably know, are separated in the exam. So the questions aren't all mixed up. Literally say, okay, the next 15 questions will be on fixed income. So you can go straight to the fixed income section if you want to. A few other kind of obvious, I think, but still equally important aspects, and that is to plan your journey. Are you going to travel to the centre in your car, or are you going to use public transport? If you're using public transport, it seems obvious, I know, but check the journey. Make sure it's running. Remember, the exams tend to be at the weekends, and therefore make sure that the public transport is running at the weekend. But probably the most important thing I would say is towards the end of this slide, and that's to do with the exam rules and regulations. The CFA exam have exam rules, exam policy, as all exams do. But I must say I've never, ever had an exam which enforces these rules in such a stringent way. So I'd absolutely urge you to look at the exam centre rules and absolutely do not deviate one bit. So these rules are there, they're there for a reason, and you must follow them. One of them, for example, which catches a few people out, is to do with the exam ticket. As you get nearer to the exam, when you log into the CFA Institute portal, you'll be able to print off your exam ticket. The exam ticket is a very important document. Without it, you can't get into the exam. Also, the exam ticket has to be pristine. If you've written over it, it will not be accepted. All right, so when you print off your exam ticket, go and find your passport. Again, do this before the exam. Check the passport is still valid. If your passport is expired, it will not be acceptable as a form of evidence. But you want to hopefully have your passport that's still valid. And then that can be evidence of who you are, your identity. Stick that with your exam ticket, keep it safe. Every year, and I've been doing this for many, many years, every year, unfortunately, we have one of our candidates who gets rejected from the actual exam despite all their work because their passport might have been out of date, or maybe they've written on an exam ticket and the proctor says, no, not happening. So please, please, please make sure you follow the rules. But otherwise, the exam is a pressurized experience, we said earlier. So just being aware of that can actually hopefully help ease that pressure. Last thing to add, which is on the slide, but it's an important one, is there's no negative marking. So if the worst comes to worst, guess. You've got a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right.